Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'm Gina, Director of Communications and Events for the Quantitative Biosciences Institute at UCSF. Today, you're watching a panel discussion about Hockey Fights Cancer. Following Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Hockey Fights Cancer Month is held in November. During the month, players, teams, fans, and partners come together to raise awareness for national and local cancer center and research organizations. On the panel, we have Nick and Heather from the San Jose Sharks, and Dimitri Kras, founder of the nonprofit organization Beats Drop Cancer. Thank you all for joining today. Nick, let's start with you. Can you tell us how the Sharks group sales team work with nonprofits?
Absolutely. So my name is Nicholas Paserno. I'm a member of the Sharks group sales team. And when you think about sales, you maybe think about working with season ticket holders, working with businesses. But one of the big areas here, specifically in group sales with the San Jose Sharks that we focus on, is our work with nonprofits. When you think about a nonprofit, you think of how they can maybe reward some of their volunteers or raise awareness or raise some money. And in here in group sales with the Sharks, we have a few different initiatives here that we found to be extremely successful. And that's why I'm here to talk about some of those. And so one of those simple initiatives is working here with Dimitri and Beats Drop Cancer. We are going to be hosting an event later this month that I'm not going to steal Dimitri's thunder, but he will be talking about that a bit later. But the event is going to be really focused on helping him and Beats Drop Cancer accomplish their goals and the organization's goals, right? To help with cancer patients through music and music therapy. And so one of the ways that we are going to be able to help with this is provide a platform and a space for him to actually host an event here to go along with some other cool initiatives that we're going to have him involved in. But when you think about us here in group sales, one of the biggest and most successful initiatives that we have here is our nonprofit of the night packages. Our nonprofit of the night packages are some of the most comprehensive and engaging packages that we have here in group sales, really throughout the league. The package really consists of a few different elements. First and foremost, the nonprofit of the night gets to be the beneficiary of a jersey auction that we hold actually at the game, where essentially players are wear a custom warm-up jersey that is unique, obviously, to them, and there's only going to be one of those for each player, right? And so an extremely limited number of jerseys. Those jerseys are then going to be autographed by the players, and then fans at the game actually get a chance to bid on those jerseys. And so these jerseys are, again, incredibly unique, autographed by the players, worn by the players. So you can imagine that some of our diehard Sharks fans are really going to be willing to pay a decent amount of money for these jerseys. We've seen jerseys go for anywhere from $500, $1,500 to even $3,000 for a jersey. And of course, the Sharks fan gets to go home with an incredible piece of memorabilia. But what they also get to do is contribute to a great cause, because the nonprofit that partners with us on those jersey nights gets to be the beneficiary of the proceeds that are raised by that auction. The nonprofit also receives anywhere from 100 to 200 tickets that they get to use to reward their volunteers and donors and anyone else involved with them, as well as they get a big push from our social media team to promote their message, their social platforms, to really help drive some awareness for their initiatives. And so our nonprofit of the night package, like I said, is really like a small corporate partnership agreement with some of our nonprofits here. For Hockey Fights Cancer Month, we are working specifically with Cancer Care Point, a nonprofit here in the Bay Area that is focusing on cancer, obviously. And so they are going to be the beneficiary of that jersey auction. They're going to be able to host some of their biggest donors and volunteers out at the game, and of course, get a big push on our social platforms for them to spread their message. And so that is, again, a very high level view of what our nonprofit of the night packages looks like and how we work with nonprofits here in group sales.
Excellent, thank you. And Heather, can you tell me about the league's charitable initiative and how Hockey Fights Cancer unites the hockey community in support of cancer patients?
Absolutely. So Hockey Fights Cancer was actually started by the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Players Association back in 1998. And really the mission of it is to unite the hockey community in support of cancer patients and their families. And this initiative really, it starts from the players and the coaches, but it also touches officials and equipment managers are involved, and front office staff and corporate partners, as well as our fans. And, we really want through this initiative to inspire hope and courage for those that are living with, going through, and moving past cancer. It is celebrated throughout the month of November. The signature color of Hockey Fights Cancer is lavender. So as you're watching any of the games, you'll see coaches and broadcasters, wearing things like Hockey Fights Cancer lavender ties, or you'll see players utilizing lavender stick tape, or lavender lights throughout the arenas. And really that's to start a conversation, to talk about this initiative as a whole, raise awareness, and equally as important, raise funding, and then really elicit some support for those that are battling cancer. As we all know, unfortunately, everyone is impacted by cancer in some way, shape, or form. And so this is really a way that we can stand together, and as an entire league, every single team can put aside their rivalries, their the competition, and really focus on coming together to fight something that all of us can get behind.
Thank you. And specifically the Sharks, why was it important for the Sharks to be a part of the initiative, and how did the Sharks support Hockey Fights Cancer? Can you share how the Sharks Foundation itself works with cancer-focused nonprofits?
Absolutely. So each year throughout the month of November, we work with local nonprofit organizations to, again, raise funding and awareness for their missions. And so this ranges from nonprofits that are providing research or conducting research to providing support services, those that are lifting spirits of youth or families that are battling whatever type of cancer it is that they're facing. This is really something that, in our world, we say an empty netter, a no-brainer for us to participate in, because as I mentioned before, so many people are impacted by cancer. I myself am the mother of a cancer survivor. And so this is something that, we as an organization have been behind since 1998. And every year we find ways in which not only can we raise funding, which is incredibly important. On average, we raise and donate about $100,000 per year in the month of November for cancer-related nonprofits in the area, but also to provide opportunities for awareness. We know as a professional sports team that we have a really unique platform. And if that means that our players are going to a local hospital and visiting cancer patients, or we are working with a nonprofit that provides, grocery support for individuals with compromised immunities that can't leave their homes while they're facing treatment, providing grant funding in that way. And, we know that, as I mentioned with our platform, when we partner with nonprofits, we're able to on our social media channels highlight the work that they're doing. And we hope that that's almost like a vouch to our fans that can say, oh, well, the Sharks are supporting that nonprofit. I'm going to research what they do. And we hope that in doing that, nonprofits are receiving additional funding from fans, or maybe people are signing up to volunteer for that nonprofit. There's so many ways that individuals, regardless if you have money to support nonprofits, can get involved by lending sweat equity or your time or your expertise or resources that you have to support these incredible organizations that, again, truly are making a difference right here in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been participating, and how have your goals expanded or shifted over time?
Yeah, so we started back in 1998 when the league introduced the initiative. And so since then, as I mentioned, we have donated on average $100,000 per year to local nonprofits. And as we all know, last year with COVID, things shifted pretty drastically because we did not have our traditional games and in-person events that we rely so heavily on from a foundation perspective to raise funding. But we're very lucky that our fans will find ways to support what we're doing, and they're so engaged and wanting to get involved with this really important initiative. So throughout 2020, what we did was we pivoted, as all of us did, but especially on the fundraising side, we worked with a local nonprofit called the Kids in Art Foundation, who utilize art for cancer patients, youth cancer patients, to relieve stress, to have a source of distraction through treatment. And we had youth cancer patients actually design their own unique logos for the sharks. And then we put those logos on our mystery pucks. And we had the players all sign those pucks, and then we sold them for $35 each. And then we gave, partial proceeds of that fundraiser to the Kids in Art Foundation to support their services. So that was one way that we could support a nonprofit without needing games, without needing an in-person fundraising event. Another pivot was, a traditional auction that we used to host per game. We actually did it entirely online and supported, again, a cancer-related nonprofit through auctions. So we found ways to pivot. We've seen that as the initiative at the league level has grown, it only has grown from a Sharks Foundation and Sharks organization perspective. And so, as we're seeing some sense of normalcy in 2021 coming back, we're really looking forward to seeing, what at the end of this November, the impact that we'll be able to talk about and showcase that we had, regardless of things being a little different. But, this is something that I only continue to see, continue to grow and increase the impact from year to year.
Brings me to my next question for Dimitri. Dimitri, you're the co-founder of Beats Drop Cancer, a nonprofit organization that uses music as a healing mechanism for patients. Can you tell us about your organization and how has it been for you throughout the pandemic?
Yes, thank you. I am the co-founder of Beats Drop Cancer with my wife. When the pandemic hit, obviously everything was very daunting. Not just with us, just everywhere, globally. But because we are as grassroots can be, we put our own money into this and built this from the ground up. Beats Drop Cancer was actually born in 2015 as my Man of the Year campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And when it was over, we just thought that maybe we could do more, and we decided to turn it into its own entity. And in 2017 is when we got our 501c3 status. So fast forward back to last year, because we worked full-time jobs as we're building this from nothing and doing events, raising funds. The pandemic somehow helped us. And when we got locked down, all that extra time that we never had, we took advantage of that to finish this project and get everything done and in a position that we would be ready to move on a space and potentially open. Now, as everything progressed, our sound engineer put an idea in my head, and it seemed like it was always just sitting under our noses. And I sent a proposal to the Midway. It's a venue in San Francisco, food, arts, music, and they have a lot of rooms, and presented what we are doing, an idea to have our space within their building, and which also included what we called an open air gala last October. And the response was incredible. They were all about it. They wanted to be a part of what we are doing. And we signed on the dotted line, and the rest is history. And, we opened the space this past May. We were building all last year. We had to get vaccinated first before we start seeing cancer patients. It was a very big deal, as they are high risk. And, the feedback we've been getting from our clients has been bigger and better than we could have ever imagined. They've been telling me that hearing me talk about it was one thing. Actually experiencing it was a whole nother level.
Can you tell us how you made the connection between hockey and music?
Well, I played college hockey. It made too much sense to try to get involved with the Hockey Fights Cancer Initiative. This was actually 3 years in the making to get to this point. I know it's very difficult to be selected by the Sharks, but we were kind of, made sure we stayed on the radar. We did something with their minor league team, the Barracuda, back in 2019. And I don't know if it was our turn, but it finally happened. And we're really looking forward to the 22nd of November. We selected the Carolina Hurricanes game. Turns out they're one of the best teams in the league this year. So it's going to be an exciting game. We worked out a pre-party event, a meet and greet with the team, some music that Nick and I really put our heads together to lay the groundwork for that. And it's going to be pretty special. And I hope anyone who's listening, we still have some tickets. You can reach out to us. It's a $100 donation via PayPal or Venmo, and you get your ticket to the game as well as access to the meet and greet pre-event.
Excellent. And would you like to tell us who's performing at the event?
Yes, we have a gentleman. He goes by Mike on Mars as his DJ name, but he's actually been one of our biggest donors in the last couple of years. We have John Beaver and DJ Just B. Both of these guys are cancer survivors and big supporters of ours. And our headliner is Diva Danielle. She's been wanting to support us for quite some time. Her best friend is battling cancer right now. And unfortunately, she's in Los Angeles, which we would love to be there for her. And there's the lineup, and it's going to be just a lot of fun, a lot of opportunity to talk to us, talk to our team, myself, my wife, everyone that's worked so hard to build this and get to this point, and we are slowly growing.
Wonderful. Nick, Heather, any thoughts you'd like to share in regards to the upcoming event on November 22nd?
I was going to say, I'm just incredibly thankful to be working with Dimitri. And, like I said, us here in group sales, we're not just here about driving revenue for the organization. We are also about working with a variety of different organizations to help them accomplish their goals. And so, like Dimitri said, if there's anyone out there who might be interested in joining and supporting a great cause, please feel free to reach out to him, and we'd love to have you. And if anyone else would like to join us here at the Tank for a Sharks game, we'll make sure I get my info out there somehow. So hopefully we'll see you out there sometime.
Absolutely. And from me, if anybody's interested in learning more about the Sharks Foundation, you can visit us at sharksfoundation.org. You can follow us on our social media channels at SJS Community. And we look forward to getting individuals involved in any capacity. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for the time.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's discussion. I'd like to thank the viewers for watching and our panelists, Dimitri, Heather, and Nick, for participating and sharing your work with our audience.
And one last thing for me, please check out our website, beatsdropcancer.org. You can find all the details. You can reach out to us. If you have any questions, you'd like to get involved, volunteer at one of our events, donate. There's a lot you could do. Please don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.